2,000 years ago, the Romans built the richest empire the world had ever seen. But in the end, they bankrupted themselves through the same financial mistakes we are making today. They understood something we often forget. Money is never neutral. It is a weapon, a promise, and a lie at the same time. The Romans lived by certain rules, silent, unspoken laws about how wealth, debt, and money really work. These rules were not taught in schools. They were learned through war, crisis, and collapse. These were the money rules that built Rome and ultimately destroyed it. And surprisingly, every one of them still applies today. At the height of its power, in the 2nd century AD, the Roman Empire stretched from the Atlantic to the Euphrates and ruled over a quarter of humanity. More than 60 million people were bound together by a single currency and a single language. The economy was massive and alive. Grain came from Egypt, glass from Syria, silk from China. Ports and forums buzzed with trade. The treasury swelled with taxes from conquered lands, and Roman citizens placed absolute trust in their money, the denarius stamped with the emperor's face. In the beginning, Roman money was tangible, coins struck from real silver and gold, with real intrinsic value. When a Roman bought bread, he paid with real metal issued by the state. It was labor made physical. But as Rome expanded, money became both the empire's greatest weapon and its greatest curse. Roman wealth did not come from productivity, but from conquest. New lands meant new slaves, new mines, new taxes. War paid for itself, as long as Rome kept winning. But what happened when conquest slowed? Rome learned the answer through financial illusion. As expansion stalled, the state borrowed, raised taxes, and manipulated its currency to keep its promises alive. Emperors grew richer. Ordinary citizens were crushed under debt and inflation. Sound familiar? Rome's fall did not happen overnight. It was a slow erosion of financial trust, and the Romans saw it happening. Philosophers, statesmen, and historians wrote about it clearly and openly. Cato the Elder warned that discipline and frugality were essential, and that luxury rots a society from within. Cicero wrote that greed corrupts a nation faster than invasion. Seneca said wealth enslaves the foolish and serves the wise. Marcus Aurelius reminded his people that fortune is not freedom, only a test. These were not moral lectures. They were economic diagnoses. Rome's moral decay was a reflection of its fiscal policy. The drive to gain more forced the empire to borrow more and consume more. The state taxed the provinces to pay the armies, looted conquered lands to cover its debts, and printed money to keep its promises. And every coin it struck carried a message more powerful than any law. The Romans lived by 5 fundamental rules. Rules that defined both the rise and the fall of the empire, and they still apply today. 1. Money is always political. Money is not just a tool of exchange, it is a declaration of power. Every coin carried the message, this empire exists because I say it does. Augustus understood this perfectly. After the civil wars, he rebuilt trust not with speeches, but with money. He placed his face and the word peace on the coins. So every transaction, every pocket, reminded people who had restored order. 2. Debt is power. Rome was built on debt. Citizens, merchants, even generals lived on borrowed money. Debt was not a problem, it was a tool. But it came with chains. When debts went unpaid, property was seized, people were enslaved, families were destroyed. When Julius Caesar took power, he implemented partial debt forgiveness, not out of mercy but strategy. It was not financial policy, it was crowd control. 3. Luxury is a virus. Early Romans lived simply, but conquest brought excess. Villas, jewelry, foreign slaves, extravagant feasts replaced discipline. Once luxury spread, decay became irreversible. People grew accustomed to excess and collapse became inevitable. Today's influencers and brand deals serve the same role that silk and marble once did. 4. Inflation destroys empires. If debt was Rome's addiction, inflation was its overdose. The denarius lost its value, and trust in money disappeared. Soldiers, workers, and merchants no longer believed in the currency. The state tried to control prices by force, but it failed. Today we print digital money instead of debasing coins. The method changed, but the outcome didn't. More symbols do not create more wealth. They only dilute value. 5. When people stop believing in money, they stop believing in power. When Roman money failed, trade collapsed, cities shrank, and people returned to barter. The empire did not run out of money. It ran out of belief. Money is a story, a shared agreement. When that story collapses, power collapses with it. The Romans understood that wealth tests character. We, however, confuse credit with wealth, consumption with culture, and speculation with progress. Today's billionaires, tech giants, and market leaders are not saviors. They are symptoms. History does not repeat itself. It changes costumes. The Romans wore togas. We wear suits. The denarius became the dollar. If we forget the rules, the result will be the same. Money is not just a tool. It is character. And when a society forgets that, collapse stops being a question of if and becomes a matter of when.